We're back in Vancouver's downtown east side, and we're heading to that non-government clinic over there. They offer something called opioid agonist therapy, essentially the first line of offense against opioid addiction. The BC government recently made OAT free, as long as you're covered under universal health care. But is it enough? Let's see what recovery's been like for people. Stan, is it easy for you to sit, or do you want to stand?
I need to sit because I have a bad back.
Oh yeah, come on. Or sit wherever's comfy for you.
Yeah, I worked as masonry in Coquitlam. We got paid $500 a day cash every day, right? So there was never a problem,
You're
right?
making good money, Stan.
I made damn good money. You should see the I got.
How did life change?
I got in an accident. A cop hit me coming down Ontario Street.
Or how did you end up on heroin?
From getting hit from that cop. It's quite hard to get off of it because it's fentanyl now. It's not heroin. It's a lot stronger of a drug to get off of. I've tried. I went to the hospital a couple of times, and for 5 days at a time I had to leave. Otherwise, I felt like I was going to die.
Don't they give you stuff to help?
Yeah, I'm on methadone. That's why I'm here today.
Yeah.
But the methadone and the Dilaudid just really don't cut it, right? I mean, because I crave it because I'm so hooked on it, right?
Those drugs Stan just talked about, let me show you what they look like and how they work. Doctors prescribe drugs like methadone or Suboxone or Cadian. These prescription drugs help to replace opioid cravings and prevent withdrawal pain. Then other doctors might prescribe Dilaudids, hydromorphone, aka hydros or dillies, and when we're talking about safer supply, that's often what's being referred to. The fast-acting pills help to offset the intense instant high of fentanyl. The hope is to stabilize, then wean off of the meds.
Thank you very much.
Did you get your dose today?
I did, yes. Thank you. Everybody in my building uses, because I live right on Hastings, right? So there isn't one person that doesn't use.
It's hard to get away in that.
It's hard to get away. I have to get out of this area to do it.
But why did you decide that you wanted to go into recovery? Was there something that made you feel like, okay, I gotta make a change or try something different?
I didn't know what else to do, I guess. A friend of mine actually, I was homeless on the street, I guess, for the first time in my life. And a friend of mine saw me homeless and he says, "You're getting off the street and you're getting welfare. And I'm going to help you." And he did. And one day he got me a place and got me welfare and got me on methadone.
Is it helping?
No, not really.
You said that you use some of the dillies. Do you feel like that's sufficient? Like, have you ever thought about selling them for Fent or anything like that? Because, I think that's something that people talk about happening.
No, I think I need more of those is what I need. I'm only getting 8. I think I need double of the dose for it to actually work. I think it would help. My doctor won't give me any more.
Being dope sick, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. It's a horrible thing to go through, and I wish I would never have got into it in the first place, but...
How long you've been on the recovery journey for?
I could probably stay 10 years or so, but to be honest with you, I hadn't really wanted to quit until a few years ago.
A few years ago, yeah. And was there something that happened that made you feel like this is it?
My teeth are gone, right? And I remember when I looked in the mirror first time I lost one of my front teeth. I swore I'd never leave my house again. I swore I'd never leave my house again, and now I have no teeth. And the guy one time was walking in the street and I saw a cute guy kind of checking me out, and then I smiled at him and he saw that I had no teeth, and I literally saw him almost run the other direction. It was so sad. Plus my family back in Alberta, I'm from Alberta, my family are extremely worried about me. They message me daily to go home and to get better and stuff, and I wish I could just get better like that, but it's not that easy.
Tell me about what it's been like.
It's hard, especially when you're kind of stuck in a rut. Especially if you live downtown east side, you're kind of stuck in a rut, because all your friends are addicts, you're an addict. Probably wouldn't have done a lot of them if I wasn't with other people who were doing them, It's just, you're a group of people who are doing dope, you're probably going to do it too,
And do you feel like you have the right tools in your mix to help you meet the needs of your patients?
You know, the amount of fentanyl that's being used out there has changed things. I think those tools were probably more effective before fentanyl became common. And fentanyl is, I think, much stronger, and the addiction is harder to deal with. So in a perfect world, I would like to be able to prescribe fentanyl, you know, some form of fentanyl, because I think that the tools I have right now fall short for a lot of patients.
I think Stan was saying, he's like, I'd love for the doctor to double my dillies in dosage.
Yeah, well, this is another thing that a lot of patients really find the hydromorphone is helpful, but when you hit the maximum dose, a lot of them feel like they could use more.
Do you feel like the medicine is enough? That
No.
just the medication?
No, the medication's not enough. People need stable housing. They need good nutrition. They need a supportive environment often, and those are harder to provide. I mean, it's relatively easy to get someone onto an opiate agonist therapy, but all these other supports that are, I would say, even more important are harder to access.
So what we heard from some of the people on the downtown east side is that treatment options are available. What's really missing are the supports around them. We wanted to understand what recovery is like for people outside that community. So we're now in East Van, in a more residential area, at a different clinic. Let's go inside.
60 days, 6 months. I've been in recovery for 9 months now. I've been coming here for my opioid replacements, and it's been really helping me a lot.
What was the first step that you took?
This is messed up. I actually ended up in jail, and I was talking to a doctor in there, and I was telling him like I'm afraid of the fentanyl on the street. So I just figured I'd try Suboxone, and he explained to me how it worked. And maybe for the first 2 weeks, maybe a month, that didn't agree with me, and I thought it wasn't working. But then one morning I woke up and the crave to go get high was gone. It was gone, and I could actually wake up and just be like, wow, I could hear myself think.
What was that first morning like?
Hearing the birds for the first time in a long time, not hearing the traffic, not hearing people shuffle about, not hearing my phone ring. I could hear the birds chirping. It was really nice. It really was, yeah. And ever since then, I've always wanted to chase those mornings of being sober.
He's doing well. Come on in.
Thank you.
Before you go, I wanted to ask you, are there things that you think would have made your journey easier into recovery?
Probably more safe supply, like more accessible. Like I know they say it's readily available, but you know only certain doctors do it. It's not like you could just like go to the corner store and I'm gonna get safe supply like you can marijuana. Like this place, you know, they help, and not that I'm not here to like get a fix or anything. I'm here to like maintain my life so I can function every day and be a normal person.
Within addictions medicine, doctors have different approaches. So Dr. Wortman, whom we heard from earlier, he prescribes drugs like methadone as part of OAT, which is quite common. If needed, he'll write prescriptions for hydromorphone or Dilaudid. So he is a fan of safer supply. And we're just about to hop on a call with Dr. Vincent Lamb. He's based out of downtown Toronto. And at his clinic, they don't prescribe anything like dillies or fentanyl patches. And we're going to ask him why.
Well, I think the difficult thing with the term safer supply is that we actually don't have substantive knowledge that tells us that it's safer. To me, it seems like at best a hopeful term, at worst a potentially confusing term.
You know, we met some patients the other day who said, even with getting hydros, they're like, because the fentanyl is so strong that they feel like they need even more than what policies allow right now. Like, what do you say to patients when you come across that? Like, how do you help them in that circumstance?
When people tell me, that what we're prescribing is not enough, I would absolutely say that we need more research into ways that we can alter some of our existing therapies.
Is there something that really would make your job a lot easier right now that if you could change, what would it be?
The one thing that I would love in my practice is to have access to wraparound supports. I think one of the most successful strategies has been the Portuguese strategy. Embedded deeply in the Portuguese strategy is the notion that there is no treatment without societal reintegration. That is an absolutely key component of treatment.
So we came into the story thinking the challenges would be how pricey OAT was, that there aren't enough doctors or clinics. And while all of that can be improved, it wasn't really what we heard. People told us that it's all the other pieces that they need: support, community, a healthy place to live, and for some, safer supply, all with the goal of getting people back to their normal lives.